Hi everyone, welcome again to Simplified RSA. We're still the guys who makes it look easy continuously over and over and over. And feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel because just to keep up with our work, there's a lot of stuff that we do every now and then to simplify everything for you, to make sure that you get good grades in your marks and to make sure that everything goes pashas with your exams. For today though, we're still on linear algebra as I promised last time. So now what we'll be doing is we're going to be solving another pair of system of equations. So using the matrix form, using matrices again, we'll be solving the very same or ideally similar to what we did on our previous video. I'm not sure if I'm going to put these videos in order like that, but let's do this one for today, whereby we are again solving a linear algebra, a system of linear equations using matrix form. So ladies and gentlemen, without wasting time, here is our two system of linear equations. Ne? From the two system of linear equations, this is equation 1, this is equation 2 again. We are required to solve this using matrix or matrices. So this is what I'm going to do. First of all, I'm going to write this in matrix form. When I write this in matrix form, I'm going to just extract the coefficients only and put them in a box the way we normally do. So this is how it's going to look like. I have 2, I have 3, I have -1, I have 1. All these 2 and 3 coefficient is equals to 4, is equals to 3. And like I've mentioned last time, the solid line represent an equal sign. I have row 1, the first row, I have row 2, the second row. Now all I need to do is just to manipulate the rows until I get my solution. To get the solution, I want to have it ideally like this. I want to have a 1, a 0, a 0, and a 1, and whatever solution I get for this one and whatever solution I get in this one. But I'll be happy if I have zeros and 1 like that. So I must have a 1 here, I must have a 1 here. That's my end goal. Now, I want you to listen to this advice very carefully. When you're solving a matrix and you have two equations, row 1 and row 2, and you want to manipulate the coefficients to be zeros and ones, right? It is advisable to start manipulating row 2 first, have a 0 and a 1, and then you use row 2 to manipulate row 1 to have a 1 and a 0. Let me make this make sense. This is what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I have row number 1 and row number 2. Instead of trying to make a 1 and a 0 to get the value of x, I'd rather start by making a 0 and a 1 here. And then after, I will manipulate that to have the second row. The first row. So this is what I'm going to say. The first row for now, I'm happy with first row. I want to manipulate row 2 first. So now this is how I command it. I will say then row 2 will be yield from, how do I manipulate -1 and 2 to have a 0? If it's -1, if I can multiply -1 by 2 and I add row 1, the 2, automatically I'll have a 0. Because if I say 2 plus -2, this gives me a 0. But if I say 2 minus -2, and then I have a 4, you see what I mean? So it's easier to say row 2 is going to be yield from 2 times row 2 plus row 1. That's what I'm going to be expecting now. 2 times row 2 plus 2 times row 2. I'm going to multiply row 2 by 2 and then I add row 1 in order to get my first 0 here. It will make sense as I go because by explaining it like this, it might not make sense. I know that linear algebra can be challenging like that. So let's do this. So I'm happy with my first row as it is because for now I'm not making changes to it. Though I'm using the first row, I'm going to add the first row to the second row. But for now, the first row, I write it as it is. Now, here is what I'm going to say. Row 2 is going to be yield from multiplying 2 to the second row, and then I add it to row 1. So, -1 times 2 is -2, plus 2 is going to give me a 0. You see where I'm going with this? Then I come to the second one. I'm still saying row 2, I'm multiplying it by 2 and then I add row 1. 1 times 2 is 2 plus 3 is going to give me 5. 3 times 2 is 6 plus 4, it's going to give me 10. So now these are my new changes. Let me just do this to create more space there. These are my new changes. So at first, I took from the original given equations, I wrote it in matrix form like this, just taking the coefficient out. Then secondly, because I want to manipulate to have 0 and a 1, and then I then I manipulated row 2 by multiplying row 2 by 2, and then I add row 1. So at that point, I still write row 1 as it is. So row 1 hasn't changed from my first step. But row 2 now, it's going to be 2 times row 2 plus row 1. This is what I get. Already from here, I can tell that if I divide by 5, I have a 1 here. So just to simplify things, I can start by that. So I would say my new row 2 now is going to be yield from row 2 divided by 5, because I would already achieve the goal of having a 1 here. The result is going to be, I still write the first row as it is, because now I'm still working on the second row first. So the first row, I still write it as it is. Here I have a 0 because R2 divided by 5. 0 divided by 5 is 0. What is 5 divided by 5? It's going to give me a 1. What is 10 divided by 5? 10 divided by 5 is going to give me a 2. So now I'm happy. Now I've manipulated the second row. Already from here, I can tell that the value of y, remember, y is this one. The value of, because already x is 0. So meaning if this one is 0, I have y only. I can tell from here that the value of y is 2. I'm happy with that. Now I'm going to use the second row to manipulate the first row to have a 1 here and a 0 here, as I've stated when the video began. In the meantime, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us in all our social media platforms. You can understand stuff like this. If you don't understand from here, you can pause and go back, start from here, how we got to this step here. Now that I'm happy with this, I'm going to manipulate row 1 now to have a 1 and a 0 here. I don't really care about what I have after the equal sign. I just want to have 1, 0, 0, 1. That's my end goal. To do that now, I would then say row 1 is now yield from row 1. I'm going to take the first row and I subtract, given that I manipulate the 1 to end up subtracting the 3, meaning I would have to multiply row 2 by 3. So look at it like this. Row 1 is going to be yield from row 1 minus 3 row 2. You will understand from the results. Because now I'm manipulating row 1, I write row 2 as it is from my final achievement, from how I manipulated from going from here, here, and there. So row 1, row 2 is as it is. I didn't change anything. It's still as my final goal. It's 0, 1, and 2. Now I want to use row 2 to manipulate row 1 such that my new row 1 is going to be row 1 minus 3 times row 2, because I want the 3 to be multiplied here. Look at it like this. 2 minus 3 times 0. 2 minus 3 times 0 is just going to be 2, because 3 times 0 is 0. Now, 3 minus 3 times 1. 3 minus 3 times 1 is 0. Now look at this. It's getting fun, because you have to do everything throughout that row. 4 minus 3 times 2. 4 minus 3 times 2. 3 times 2 is 6. 4 minus 6 will give me minus 2. So this is what I have now. I'm not happy because I have a 2 here. All I want to achieve is I want to achieve a 1 such that I can have the solution. So I can apply similar to what I've done here when I had a 5 here because I wanted to make it a 1. I took R2 and I divided it by 5 to get the results. So now I will say my new row 1 will be yield from row 1 divided by 2 because now I want to have ones and zeros as my final goal or my final achievement. That's when I would have solved the entire thing. So here, I will then have 2 divided by 2 is 1. 0 divided by 2 is 0. Minus 2 divided by 2 is minus 1. And then I write the other one as it is. Now, it's in my final goal. I have 1, 0 is equals to an answer. 0, 1 is equals to an answer. And then from here, it is said that I have found my solution, guys. That's it. So now my solution is such that y is equals to 2, and what would be x? X is equals to minus 1. That's how you solve for this system of equations using matrices. You can pause from here. I know that I've said a lot of complicated stuff. You can pause from here, reverse, go back from the start, try it your own way first, and then repeat it over and over and over until you understand. Otherwise, we'll make more videos again to make you understand. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you for watching. Please join us again on our next video, and please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us in all our social media platforms, and to contact us, you can send us either an email or WhatsApp to this number or the email address, and feel free, guys, to contact us. You can either even send us an email if you have a question that you want us to do here, and we can do that one given that time allows. Otherwise, I'm Mr. Maimane. This is Simplified RSA. We are the guys who makes it look easy. And we are here to support you on your academic journey. And we are here to make sure that you ace those exams. And we are here to make sure that parents don't get disappointed for the fact that they're